You can make a religion roll on the symbol.
One more.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is a great alternative because
A 9.
yeah.
You know very little about the symbol, but you know that it is non-denominational. That's all you know. But it is religious in nature. It is a symbol of tolerance. You don't know its history. You don't know what it actually is a metaphor for with that role.
What was it connected to?
Non-denominational, which means it's not adhering to any one specific deity, but it's sort of like tolerance for anybody who worships any other deity. And you believe it is human in nature. So it's like basically like a human symbol that means like worship who you will. We are tolerant of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I inspected this altar and this whole like surface that we were standing on here with investigated with a 23. So yeah.
Well,
I was hoping to find something of interest because you don't generally put just something like this here. I feel like it kind of stands out.
It is more religious in nature as it is tied to the fact that this area is like an area of tombs and catacombs. But with your investigation, you know nothing more than the fact that it is likely a place where respects are paid. Kind of the scenic nature of it is like a place where people might come to pay respects and also tolerate people and fallen paladins of specific deities, and that's why there is a non-denominational symbol there, but you don't really discern much more than that. There's Ed joining us on cam.
I'll join the party, yeah.
Good to see you. I love that shade of green on you.
Oh, thank you. Now we just need a Steve.
I don't know about that, especially not when I'm DMing, but we'll have to use our theater of the mind for me as well.
We all know what you look like.
I'm a dungeon master. I don't have to be a materialized person. So each of you make a dex roll as you make your way down, including the people who aren't here. So I'm gonna have to roll.
I was gonna do some stylish shit.
Oh shit!
I was gonna like sprint right here and jump over the edge.
Are you gonna hold on to a rope while you do that? Because
No.
I might have to roll some dice.
Actually not.
I'm
going to transform into a shape, wild shape.
I hope there's nothing prohibiting you from shape-shifting.
No, there really shouldn't be, unless someone's tossed something at me. Silence.
Okay. What spell are you casting? Shapeshifter?
No, it's wild shape.
Wild shape. Okay.
Yeah, wild
Pretty
shape.
badass. Not bad. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You're turning into what?
But that's the funny part. Like one of those flying squirrels.
Oh, that's pretty fun, actually. Cool.
Yeah. I just jumping over the edge, like you guys just see me jumping over the edge, and I'm like,
I guess those flying squirrels can handle this. I used to have one living in my backyard. It would come out at 7 p.m. every night. They're pretty punctual. Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing inhibiting your spell from working, I will say it works.
No.
And you.
The
question is, are you gliding in a straight line? Are you gliding in a spiral motion? How would you like to?
Depends how far away is the water.
I would say the water is probably like 500, 400 meters.
Because I know exactly where the ship is, right? So I can just scout ahead, basically.
Yeah.
Considering this is quite far up, I can even glide back some bit. So I can, yeah.
Well, your full glide wouldn't make it to the water's edge, but it would make it into the woodlands, probably a couple hundred meters from maybe like 100 or 200 meters from the ship at your full glide.
All right. Yeah, sure. Let's go for that.
So as you do that, you see that there are many pines down there. You don't see much. You see a few deer, kind of.
I suppose I should go for a roll?
Perception roll. Yeah, go for perception.
I mean, I've done several perception rolls over this, but I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, with an 8, all you see are a family of deer that are undisturbed by you. They don't even notice you. You see fog rolling through the pines. The fog is much more prominent, like in and beneath the trees, which allows your visibility to be seen above. And as you approach the ship, you still don't see anybody on it. You see it gently rocking. The sails are furled. Furled? Yeah, furled. They're up. They're not open.
Yep.
And it appears to be anchored, but that's all you can discern. It appears to be the same
Right.
ship. Yeah, that's all you see.
I'm gonna be sitting and like a little bit disguised, like I'm basically stealthing, like closer to some bushes and whatnot. And I have the what's called Mask of the Wild, because of the race I am. You can attempt to hide even when you're only slightly obscured. I suppose doesn't that make it a little bit buffed if I am? If I am obscured.
I would say with your size, yes, because you're smaller. But one of the only places you can actually safely land would be on the top or middle of some of the pines because the fog is so thick below.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can just land on top of one of the trees and just sit there and keep watch.
You can do so deftly without even making a roll as a flying squirrel.
Thick foliage and whatnot, so I can look out, but it's difficult to see in, right? It just looks like a normal squirrel, I guess. I'm not gonna go further with saying anything else because that would be detrimental to myself. Dexterity.
So that was a roll for Jinyo. He's making his way down the rope without problem. I'll do Falmanar next. Sorry, go on.
No, Steve, you didn't give me a chance yet.
I'm sorry, go on.
But
you know
I'm
Jinyo,
glad
he's
that
brash.
Jinyo made it. Yeah, okay. Who all is still up here besides Falmanar and I?
You also have Fridgeek.
Don't we have 4 horses as well?
Oh, and 4 horses.
Well,
Yes.
I would not have done that, keeping in mind that we have 4 horses, but that's fine.
No, okay, so roll for Falmanar then. Roll Falmanar's
I'll do so,
dexterity
I'll do so.
and Fred Geeks.
Yes.
I hope you have, like, feather fall.
Yes, I do.
Falmanar's
Good.
fine with an 11. That's fine. We're going to do Fridgeek now. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if he... I think he's got feather fall or some shit. 23. My dude is just... He's just repelling.
Oh fuck, we couldn't go
He's
see.
waiting for Falmanar. He's just waiting for Falmanar as he repels so efficiently as his little body.
Kinda didn't go get Yvonne's prosthetic arm and go see the blacksmith zone.
So you want to go... You do or don't want to go back?
I kinda did, but if are we already over the halfway point?
We're gonna. That arm was destroyed, and I believe it was Fred Geek or somebody said that they would make her a better one anyway.
It wasn't destroyed, actually. It was just left there because it was meant to keep the door open of the
So
mechanism.
you're going to have to specify now. Are you going back or are you repelling? Let us know. Well, you already started repelling, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
you're
guess
looped
not.
in. You're looped in.
Okay, so it's me and 4 horses. Excellent. So I'm going
Walks into a bar.
I'm going to take us all to here because there's pillars and shit in the way over here. Take us all to here. I'm gonna blindfold the horses. I'm going to untie that silk rope and I'm gonna loop all the horses together.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of weight.
Well, as long as you
I'm
have feather fall, right?
Yeah, I'm casting Featherfall, Steve.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Wait.
I like the way you
Yes.
think, wizard.
I cast Featherfall, and I lead the horses off the cliff. I have us all step off at the same time.
I will say that Featherfall is still like 10 feet a second, I think. But yeah,
I mean, you don't take any damage when you land, and you can land on your feet.
correct.
So,
I'm not even going to make you roll for it. I'm just saying it must be very startling for the horses, but they are okay.
Yeah.
And I will say that you and the horses, how many people can you include in that Featherfall? You in a group, right?
5. A total of 5.
You are good. You and the horses are good. You're down there.
That's why I let everybody else go. I was like, man, these horses have gone through so much hell.
Add 100-foot silk rope to your inventory, which is actually a lot cooler than you guys might first think. That's hard to come by. That's a lot of good silk rope.
I'm a hoarder, so I'm gonna take whatever I can.
You're a hoarder who
Lori is a hoarder.
who rarely reviews what you have.
I know.
Like, you had stuff that could have, like, turned the tide in combat. But I
Did I
digress.
know?
I digress. I digress.
I got some dirty panties that belonged to somebody.
Good lord. Do you still have that
no.
in your inventory? Jesus Christ. So, so without changing scene, I will say that you are all making your way through the woods. You are in an evergreen forest. It is very clear beneath as the canopy is above you. Lots of dead pine needles. And although it's fairly foggy, you can still see very much because evergreen forests tend to be fairly flat here at least. And as you make your way through, you all kind of regroup. I don't know about Rohal. He is well hidden. You're not really sure where he is.
And he's a tree squirrel right now, right? A flying
correct,
squirrel. Yeah.
Correct, which is why none of you see him. You have the horses
I'm out
tied
there
up.
with the
I assume you take the blindfolds off the horses?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, very good. They have no trouble making their way across this terrain. And you do make your way to the water's edge, which is not smooth sand and not untraversable rock. It is somewhere in between. It is somewhat... There's some pebbles.
I assume I haven't seen anything happening around, and I assume I also need to do another...
Roll to see if the horses break their
That's
leg.
a little bit better.
Roll to see if the horses have a fatal arterial rip in a leg break. No, I'm kidding. No, everyone's doing okay, actually. Things could have gone worse.
Well, I'm not looking at them. I'm looking overall, because I'm just...
20 perception.
I was scouting ahead, right?
You
So
briefly
overall.
see somebody come up from below deck and go back below. You see a glint of metal, perhaps an armor on the
Gotcha.
person.
So as soon as I realized that, what kind of armor? Do I see anything?
You cannot tell, but it is metallic. They you see them
Like
briefly come
silvery.
above deck and below deck. Yes, you see them come above deck
Okay.
and then below deck.
Do
I
I
think
remember
that
if
calls for,
we had? Do I remember having someone left on the ship, or outside of the cave that we went into earlier? Would they have made it back and been able to board the ship? Would I?
Well, I'm gonna, since it's been a lot of time in real time and a decent amount of time in game, I will say I'll do a quick review of who was on the ship when you left. There was Beatrice Morton, very plain human woman, keeps to herself, wearing a dress. She's the seer. You have Richard Athenasath. He is a half-elf who was sent from Grial to make sure that the mission to slay Gulazar was done so successfully and in a way that represents Grial in a appropriate manner, not like, straight up pillaging people and shit. You have Conrad Thorngage, male half-elf, who is trying to promote his wines and whiskeys, who is from the area of Estold, but he also hired Gallo specifically to kill Diranor for hurting his halfling kind. You have Yvonne. No, sorry, Yvonne's dead yet. You have Keth Hamilton. Keth Hamilton is a half-orc who was often at the helm of the ship after the actual captain was killed by the sea serpent. You have Mallory Tibber, who is the turtle guy, who is a scientist looking for samples of flora and fauna. You have Giva.
And he doesn't have silvery stuff on him, does he?
He does not. You have Giva Liedon, paladin, who does indeed wear a half-plate mail, who's looking for her son, who believes that he has been taken by his abusive father into the slave trade for one reason or another. She's a half-elf who had that drug addiction, looking into the future. And then you have Mithrazorn, the hawk that Falmanar uses to jump through pocket dimensions to give information. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but I had to give you a refresher of who's supposed to be on the ship.
Jump off the... I assume I see them coming up, like, before they come to the beach and whatnot.
Your companions, yes.
We also...
So I jump from the tree branch, like gliding to them, rolling in shape, and as I come up from the roll, I turn back into a human, right in front of them.
we also Wolf. Steve, did you make a dexterity save for Gallo?
Good point. Gallo is with us. Yes. I love Gallo. Let me see here.
And the 7 deathlock heads, if you didn't throw them away.
No, you have to make a dex roll for the heads. Come on. He has them though. It's not a dex save, it's a dex roll, and that would be a 21. Gallo's good with ropes. I digress. Let's
Steve.
continue. Let's continue. Let's continue on this
Gallo is
adventure.
great. We all know it.
I share the information with the people that we have. There's movement on the ship, and I have seen like some form of shining metal on the individual that was moving, but everything seems quite calm.
Well, good.
Can't Felminar call this hawk?
Felminar.
I mean, don't you have some flying creature?
I do. I have an owl. I have a familiar. I'm gonna send my.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. When we get to the shore, I'm gonna send my owl, and I'm gonna look through my owl's eyes, and send my owl down into the ship. Good point, Rohal.
Hell
Sometimes I forget he's here.
Also, just yeah.
Me or the owl?
So I will just
The
mention
owl.
quickly that Falminar's Mithrayorn is sort of kind of like a free spirit. He doesn't really have control of it like a normal familiar. It kind of comes and goes at its own will, but it does send messages and can pass through pocket dimensions, which can go at great distances. So yeah, that's why he hasn't heard from it in a bit. But yes, you can absolutely send your owl, and that is a formal familiar. So tell me exactly what you would like to do with that owl, so I know what's going on.
Okay, I'm going to look through my owl's eyes. Catch me if I fall, Felminor. And I'm gonna have my owl fly, circle the deck, and then see if the door is open to below decks.
So the owl flies over the ship, and as it does, you see two bodies on top of the deck in pools of blood. Make a perception roll as you fly over and make your way toward the door.
Okay, my glasses are off. Perception.
It's hard to see the misshapen forms in the blood, as they are also covered in netting and some other kind of rubbish that has been tumbled around on the ship. The door does appear to be open, however. Would you like the owl to fly through, walk through? What would you like it to do?
Okay, so owl familiars have this great disengage feature where they can swoop in and out without an opportunity of attack being possible, if I recall correctly. So my owl is gonna swoop in and out of below decks to get a look at who's down there.
Also,
hopefully.
actually, you should have less perception, I think, because you're an owl.
That's
Owls have
kinda true.
excellent vision.
It's +3,
Yeah.
not +5.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was still an appropriate description, but before you make your decision, you also have the double doors which are closed and the two stairwells that are open on top deck. So would you like to choose the stairwell toward the front of the ship or the middle of the ship?
let's go with the middle.
Okay.
Just for shits and
But you have advantage on hearing, on the other hand, so you have double the roll. That rely on hearing and sight. Keen hearing and sight is the ability.
Oh.
So technically you should roll again and see if you get higher. But
Oh, alright.
whatever.
What should I do?
If the
For the
DM allows it.
For which sense?
It's the owl. It has keen hearing and sight. The owl has advantage on wisdom (perception) checks that rely on hearing or sight. Hearing or sight.
You can do a roll for hearing specifically.
Okay.
But for the bodies on top is what I'm referring to.
Oh.
Like earlier.
Well, they can't hear dead bodies, so.
Correct. So with the
Yeah,
21,
that's what I mean though with them.
well, you don't see anything different, but with the 21, you do hear somebody walking on wooden boards below deck, and perhaps the jangle of metal, and that's all you can hear with the 21.
Okay.
So if you're going to go down with the middle stairwell, let's have a little look at that. Let's see, which one are we looking at here? There's so many levels to this goddamn ship.
Could we see the ship?
No. Because of the information. So make an entirely new perception roll for going into this new area.
With advantage.
So I roll twice.
Sure. Plus or minus 2 or some shit? I don't know.
Yeah,
18
minus
is
2.
18 is wonderful, actually. So you fly. So you're doing a fly in and fly out, or you're specifically flying in?
I'm fly in and fly out.
Okay. You fly in and fly out, and you briefly see the main area that leads to all of the separate quarters, and you see a large map on the table. You see Conrad Thorngage, the halfling which you've met before, very spirited fellow, and you see him rushing back and forth carrying cloth, and you see his head is wrapped with a cloth as well, wrapped around his head, and you also see Giva Liedon in her half-plate mail, also bustling back and forth, carrying a bucket with what appears to be water and some cloth, also with something wrapped around her head in the same fashion, strangely enough. And you also see some blood splatter on the front of her plate mail, still damaged as it was before when she was, I forget what happened to her armor, but yeah. Oh yeah, she was crushed by the sea serpent, yeah.
Alright. Okay, so my owl comes back. Okay. 2 of our people are in there. I described the scene that I saw. They both seem to have taken some sort of head wounds. They're bustling with cloths and a bucket of water. Perhaps we should...
What was bustling?
Bustling. They're moving around quickly with purpose.
So that's interesting.
So I think we should see about getting on the ship and seeing if they require assistance.
Yes.
I would carefully move up to inspect the bodies on the deck and silently see what happened to them, and then perhaps get in contact with the individuals downstairs, because it sounds like they might be
It sounds like they're
under
in
the
trouble.
influence
Under the influence.
of
First of all, we
something,
need to
perhaps.
get to the ship. We need a robot.
That's not a great predicament.
Does anyone have water walking? Even just does it?
I start chanting and doing weird shit for 10 minutes, and good thing you reminded me. Here you go. And also I do another thing that is very similar, but, well, another ritual for another 10 minutes. And now you can also breathe underwater. Not that it's going to be necessary because we're going to be above water because walking on it, but, you know.
So we've been letting
never
them,
know.
like, bleed and rush about for 20 minutes.
The question? Yeah, but the question.
You guys are the best.
You don't have to stay here, but, you know.
First of all,
Actually, well,
this-
hold on. Hold on. Let's
I like
pause here
living.
for a moment. Lorian brings up a valid point. This is a good character choice. The druid does this. I don't know whether he explains what he's doing or not, but he starts chanting in the woods, and like a druid does. Go ahead. Take it from there. What do you all choose to do?
I'm gonna have my owl take my rope and just loop it over the one of the
doesn't the ship
railings of the ship.
doesn't the sail ship usually have an inbuilt ladder, step ladder on
Does
their
it? Oh yeah. Yeah. Does
Yeah,
the
it
ship
has in
have
the center.
ladders? Steve, does it have rope ladders?
It has not a rope ladder, but netting along both sides, starboard and port, that are there. and they're down.
not-
That we can climb up. Okay, all right. Well, then
Indeed,
never mind
yes.
looping the rope.
Hold
My
on.
ass is gonna
Joseph comes up and says, maybe some of more stealthier personnel should go first ahead and scout out.
I give a go ahead gesture. Be
Joseph,
my guest.
Joseph looks towards Rohal and Gallo.
Well, Rohal is busy chanting stuff.
Yeah,
Gallo.
I mean, you just putting that out there. You guys have seen me do this ritual, at least the one with. Actually, you've seen me do both, an infinite amount of times already. So
Yeah.
you fellas should definitely know what
yeah,
it's
I know.
all about.
I know what you're doing. It's just that it's going to take 20 minutes, and it seemed like there was an emergency happening on the deck. So
Well, on the other hand, if they've been doing shit, for the longest while, like literally what we haven't been there. So would it have happened literally as we're coming up to the place?
possibly, I mean, they looked like they were. Did they look? Pardon me. Did they look pretty stressed out, Steve?
Insight roll. I love insight rolls because it is perfect for those situations.
And start going slowly over the water.
Wow,
over
21. Okay. It seems like both of them had determination on their face, and it seems like they were both moving quickly and efficiently with determination. They did not appear to necessarily have fear or pain, but determination. Joseph, that means you are beginning to swim, is that correct?
No, walk on water. Because one of
Oh,
He
so
waits
we're
10
gonna.
minutes basically.
All right. So okay, that seems like.
Well, let me hear this out. So Joseph, you're choosing to wait, yes, for the first spell, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Lorian, what are you choosing to do?
Well, then I'm gonna wait for 10 minutes too, and hope that they'll be okay, since they seem determined, not panicked.
Very good.
Okay,
Right.
so seeing Ev being very concerned, I decide to not go for the second one, which is water breathing, because we're not going to utilize it either way. So what I do instead is I make a certain individual invisible. A creature you touch becomes
Which-
invisible
which
until the
invi-
spell ends.
Which individual?
The individual that is currently stealthing over there.
That would be Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah, so he
Okay.
doesn't necessarily need to stealth over there. He just needs to, walk over there.
Joseph, you are now able to walk on water and are invisible. My goodness.
So even I wouldn't see my own body. I was like, huh. Well, that's.
Basically.
I guess
Disconcerting.
I'll try. And Joseph starts heading to the boat on water, seeing. It's just only splashes, small splashes of where he steps.
Yes. And I think this is the first time Joseph has walked on water in his entire life, if I'm not mistaken. And it is a
And-
weird feeling for you, Joseph.
And invisible. Joseph just mutters to himself, well, better get used to this, and, well, first time for everything.
Yes, Joseph, who has had the least experience with adventuring and magic, is really kind of soaking it all in. It's quite a bit. Joseph, you make it very briefly to the side of the ship.
Hold
and-
on.
Yes.
Without him realizing, he just he also can't hear anything of his own footsteps at all. He just everything, and for a few moments, everyone around him that was behind him didn't leave anything behind, no sounds or anything. Pass without trace.
What's doing that? You casting silence?
Oh,
or
hold
something?
on. That's concentration. I can't do that. Never mind.
Okay.
As opposed to some graph paper.
You are on top deck. That should be visible
want-
to you.
Okay, so I
You can
I got you guys
three
spoiled with
of
my
the
maps and sounds.
Right? You can see 3 decks.
I know.
But
Those horses
it's a
aren't
little
there.
bit blacked out.
Those
Okay.
horses aren't there.
Good.
Oh, where did I pop up from?
You popped up closer to port.
Somewhere here?
I didn't see your ping on top deck.
I am. It's the most left one, is it not?
No. It is...
I'm pinging right
shit.
now.
I'm sorry. I'm looking... Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yes. That's where you pulled up. Yeah, you climbed up there. Yes.
I guess I'll put my character thing there. Hold on.
Also, what is that?
Somebody drew that, and I'm afraid to delete it, so I might delete the whole map.
Somebody drew what? What? Where?
There's
I'm
a little,
not
like,
seeing.
marker line on the cannon up on the top right of the leftmost top deck map. I love this
So-
ship design. It's cool.
I'm
Where are-
seeing something different because I can't see the top deck at all.
You'll have to zoom out.
You
zoom
got
out.
you gotta zoom out. It's a big map.
Big old map for big old
Oh.
serpent battles.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Joseph slowly walks around. I'll do a perception check to see if I get a glimpse or see the bodies around.
Sure.
13.
What's your perception? Oh, 13. Okay. You see that the two bodies on the top deck are in a puddle of red blood, and they appear to be... One is a male and one is a female, what appears to be. And they have a large fin on their back, and half of their body is serpentine or fish-like. They are not mermaids, but you're not sure what they are. They also have pointed ears like elves do, and their eyes are kind of whitish and bluish. They don't have necessarily pupils like you do. And their upper bodies are completely bare, but have kind of a seaweed-like coating to them.
What were their legs like? Like
They didn't have legs.
whatever.
They appear to be serpentine
Supposed to be
or
there.
fish-like.
Okay.
Similar to a
Gotcha.
mermaid's body, but they don't appear to be a mermaid based on your limited knowledge of mermaids, Joseph.
Okay.
Isn't he supposed to do a roll for that?
He did a perception, and I gave him what information I thought was appropriate for his perception. He didn't hear
No.
anything from up there, though. The rolling waves are overpowering any sound of anything below deck for you.
I also rolled a nature of 16 just to see if Joseph knows anything about these creatures.
Joseph, unlike the others, you have actually spent a great deal of time in urbanized areas and salty seaports, and you've heard tales of different creatures. These are certainly one of those creatures, you just don't know which. But you are more certain than most that they are not mermaids. The untrained eye might believe them to be mermaids, but you know that mermaids have a more attractive humanoid appearance, whereas these have kind of a weird hybrid-like look to them and their skin tone. Mermaids, also known as merfolk.
Joseph takes account of this, squats back up again, and decides to go down below decks from the bow staircase up here.
Very good. Now, to navigate these damn mini-maps, let me have a look here. Okay, so we got this one, which is the forecastle cabins. We have this one, which is the alt castle cabin. Quarter deck cabins. Let's see, you are making your way down to the middle deck, I think. So we're gonna drag you. I'm gonna drag you down myself.
Or how many decks does this ship have? 3 or 2? Oh, wait, you have...
It has 5 decks, but also within the second deck, it also has like 3 different chambers. So right now you are now. I dragged you over
Yeah, what
to
is
the main deck. Is that main deck revealed to you?
No. Was the Stygian like a smaller vessel than he is on this map? The Stygian looks like to be mostly like a 2-deck plus. I want... Fuck it. Fuck it.
There you are. You're on
What?
the main deck.
Now I can see it.
Okay, that's the main deck.
Yes. So you're below 1 level, but you also see a door in front of you, and you see a door this way as well behind you toward the port. There are different compartments within this deck.
I went down these stairs here doesn't it like lead me down below decks?
So you're going again. You're going down another deck, is what you're saying.
That's the first thing I did. I already was like on the second deck.
You were on the top deck. Now you're on the second deck. So you're telling me you would choose to go down...
So this deck looks the same as the top deck, and that's what's confusing.
These things here that are one level above, Joseph already came down.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you're right. Sorry, it's got 4 levels. I'm out of my mind. Hold on, I'm getting confused here. Okay, sorry. So you're on top deck. You see a double doors in front of you, and a stairwell, and behind you, you see 2 spiral stairs up to an upper deck. Then you see stairs that go to lower deck, and then you see double doors going into another compartment on top deck. you got a lot of rooms here.
Just to remember, this is where there was a table with a map, I think.
Yes, that's correct, and you hear movement in this area here.
Joseph is going to go with a circle to there, so he's gonna go down the stairs here and tries to make his way to the aft of the ship and come. Were the stairs inside the cabin, if Joseph can remember, or does he have to come up from the top here again and go through the double doors?
He will be able to come up from below if he chooses to.
Okay. I guess I'll come here.
Okay. So, you are now below here. You smell some horse feces that were... No, I'm kidding. No, those were cleaned up. You're good. It's all empty here.
Steve, we didn't consent to your poop fetish this session.
You see nothing out of the ordinary here, and nobody moving throughout this deck or anything. Yeah.
It peeks down here and has a listen if you can hear anything down at the lower decks.
You hear the creaking of wooden boards. Lorian and Rohal, what are you doing?
I'm gonna quietly approach, since I'm walking on water. I'm gonna quietly approach. I didn't hear any screaming or anything. So
I'm gonna finish my water breathing thing.
Very good.
Okay, you go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna try to kind of quietly climb the netting.
Does she make it out there?
She makes it out there with no interruption.
Considering we're dealing with merfolk, it's a valid question.
Well, Joseph
the first individual was invisible.
Joseph knows that they're not merfolk. You are not entirely certain.
I don't know anything. I'm just...
Because you don't know it yet.
Yeah. I'm just putting it out there.
I just feel that if the immediate crisis is past, then maybe I can relatively safely get on board. I'm not convinced that they're mind controlled or anything like that. I didn't get that impression. They seemed to be, able to think and feel on their own. They didn't look blank or anything like that, so.
Lorian, you can put your token on top deck. You make your way out.
Okay.
And roll hall. Lorian escapes from your view as she goes over the edge of the ship, top deck.
I will shrug and continue the ritual, I guess. How long does it take to walk out there?
About 45 seconds.
Okay, gotcha. So it's that close, right?
Yeah.
So I continue for a few more minutes.
There we go.
Very good. So he'll be doing that for several rounds of non-initiative play, so to speak.
Where's the map room from here, Steve?
It is in front of you, past that mast. Yes, into a double door there. I'm sorry. Actually, the double door just beneath you. Sorry, just beneath you down here.
Oh. Okay.
Gallo is following behind you, Lorian. Let me get his token.
All right.
NPC controlled. DM controlled NPCs. Here we are. Is that going to give me a token? Let me see. It's not giving. It is giving me a token. Okay. And Falmanar should be close behind, so I'll grab him as well.
Yeah.
Got 2 beefy boys. So are you making your way through there?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to the map room.
Okay. So directly to the left of your token is the map room. I'll drag you in there. You make your way in single door, not double door. Gallo and Felminar are still making their way, so you're the first one in. And without making any rolls, you see an open door somewhere to your right. And you see Conrad Thorngage, the halfling, bustling, just as you saw him through the owl. He pays no attention to you as you're behind him.
Hello, I'm back. What's happened? What's happened?
He doesn't respond and continues to soak some cloth in a bucket of water.
Conrad, what's going on?
Make an intuition. What's the roll? Insight. Make an insight roll. 11. Well, with an 11, you believe that he cannot hear you. Perhaps he has his wrappings around his head to bind his ears.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't see the bodies, did I?
The what?
The bodies that were upstairs. I only saw through my owl.
Correct. You're correct. You do not take a close look at him.
I'm gonna tap Conrad's shoulder.
He jumps with a fright. And stumbles back and actually stumbles over the bucket of water, spilling it across the floor. But he looks at you, and for a moment he has a moment of relief after realizing that you are an ally. And
what's going on?
He points to his ears, shaking his head, saying he cannot hear. But he speaks up and says, "Cover your ears. There are sirens about."
Oh shit! All right, I'm gonna pull up. I know I've got like some sort of fucking fancy ass linens in here. I'm gonna pull that out and wrap around my ears. And I'm gonna rush back up the stairs to where Falminar and Gallo are, and say, "Sirens! Wrap something, cover your ears!"
They start fumbling to find something. I don't know if they have anything. Joseph, you hear some muffled voices through the door, but you can't quite make out what they're saying.
Well, I guess I'm coming up from the bottom right. I'm making my way back there.
Yes, you make your way up.
I got my handkerchief around my ears, I guess.
And this time Conrad sees you and is not as startled. He says the same thing. He says there are sirens about. He says, "Cover your ears."
Joseph is invisible.
Oh fuck! You're invisible. Thank you for reminding me. So you just see Conrad picking up a spilled bucket and picking up some cloth and rushing into some rooms. And as he does so, you see him rush into this room on your left. And inside you see the turtle, what appears to be in a catatonic or sleep-like state, on the bed. And he's putting some cool cloth on his forehead.
Medical insight?
Sure, make a roll.
Which one?
Medicine.
22.
22. You can see the turtle's chest rising. He seems to be breathing just fine. You've never really met a turtle, although you've heard of them, other than the fact that you've met this fellow Mallory before. So you don't really know what skin tone to really tell is healthy or not. But he appears to be either sleeping or unconscious. You don't see any abrasions or any wounds on his skin. He appears to just be unconscious, and Conrad Thorngage appears to be putting a cold, wet cloth on his forehead. You know that often that's done for people who either have a fever, who are unconscious, who have fainted. You're not quite sure what to make of it. Rohal, what are you up to now? Your spell pretty much finishes at this point.
Very well. Well, I start moving out there. I assume I don't see anything. Yeah, I assume I'm just gonna make a perception roll.
Yes, do that.
On the deck, getting up there. Can I see myself there somewhere? I'll just put myself there.
Sure.
All right.
Where do I get up? Like, here somewhere?
Same
Yes.
same spot. Yes.
Okay, when you pop up, I'm going to say, "Sirens! Cover your ears," and hand you a strip of silk cloth, as I found the entire ass bolt of silk that I had in my bag of holding, and I have been cutting pieces off.
So Gallo and Falminar now have their ears covered. Falminar had to take his helmet off for this. Keep that in mind. And Gallo's hood is down, but he's still wearing his face mask. Rollhall scans the sea after hearing that with a 24 perception. Sees nothing in the waters except he does see 2 or 3 bloody bodies floating. With his keen elven eyes, sees that they are indeed siren bodies. What appears to be the conclusion of a siren attack. He hears nothing else other than people bustling below deck and the 4 that are on top deck, including himself.
Alright. Well, what do I roll for knowledge about sirens? I will assume I realize they are sirens, considering my naturistic knowledge.
So with monsters, I like to go with either intelligence or nature. I'll let you choose. They can yield different information.
Okay. Oh!
Well.
Yeah,
That
we got
roll, though.
Here.
dump truck
Siren
big fat
expert.
rolls going on today.
Sirens. So you know
Jesus.
that sirens are known to either hunt in packs or solitary. And a lot of this is not vanilla, so don't bother looking up. They have a siren song. They often will lure ships into rocky waters. They have different siren songs that can have different effects. Some can bring people into a catatonic state. Some can bring them under their command and control by being charmed. They have a harder time doing that with elves like yourself, as elves in particular have resistance against sleep charms.
Yeah.
You also know that sirens sometimes follow certain aquatic deities, sometimes they do not. And they are usually feminine in appearance. They are not, they are sexually dimorphic. There are male and females. And they usually don't attack ships of this size unless they have a reason. They will usually only be aggressive against smaller vessels. They tend to be of an evil nature. And I will say, with this 25 nature, I'll give you an opportunity to then extend that to a religion roll. So make a religion roll. You're not really certain what some sirens follow and what some don't. So I'll leave it at that.
Gotcha. Resistance against. What does that mean? Does that mean I get a like?
So I will say that you do know this in character. All elves of any elven kind have resistance against sleep magic. So if someone tries to charm you into falling
And charmed.
and charm, is that what it is? Yeah.
I
So
can
specifically
so
charmed. So not-
against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep.
Yes. That's not the same as something like possession or certain mind control. It has to specifically use the word charmed in the spell description. If we want to break down the
And
actual
you
mechanics.
mentioned charm.
I did. Yes, sirens can charm people with certain luring songs, but you know that they can also have different songs that do different things, and that's why
Understood.
you know immediately why they're covering their ears now, because that is a threat.
Yeah.
So I hand you a strip of silk. Cover your ears with.
I take said strip of silk and look at it weirdly, and suppose I put it on my ears.
See, that's what we got. unless you got wax somewhere. Where's that?
Actually, no. No, I think I had it in my last campaign, actually. Would have been funny if I did. I was like looking at it weirdly, just handing it back, just putting in some wax on my ears. Yeah, no, okay, so, yeah, I just put it over my ears, and then I just like, okay.
So Conrad makes his way up, and so does Giva. They are now aware of your presence. And Giva does have some blood on her half-plate mail. She does not appear to be injured herself. And she says...
Do I recall... Yeah, go ahead.
You do recall both of them. I'll give you a quick breakdown. So,
no, it's not about them. It's not about them.
Okay, what is it?
Do I recall correctly, do you have a spell or something else that makes us hear each other? Lorian. Just passively. I seem to recall we had something like that in the past.
Message.
Message is
Message.
usually, among two people. It's a two-way between one person.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but it can be, yeah, but it can keep like being, the connection can keep being up, right? Just so
Also,
we can.
I'll give you a friendly reminder. I believe that what's his goddamn name? Dwali. No, sorry. What's Steelback's name again? The dwarf.
That guy. He gave us the ring.
Yeah. I'm trying. Like his first name escapes me. Starts with D. Anyway, he gave you his brother's ring. His brother is Dwali Steelback, and that is a ring of message. So Falmanar is wearing that. Falmanar can message people mentally.
All right. If you have it as a cantrip, doesn't it feel sensible to, you know,
use it? Yep.
Kurdu Steelback. Okay.
Anyways, continue with the other individuals.
Yes, Giva comes up, and she's wearing the half-plate mail. It's bloodied, and she says, cover your ears. We have sirens here. I have one captive. The rest of the crew are catatonic. We need to get out of these waters immediately. Who can man the sails?
We need to bring the horses on board.
She says, do it.
Yes.
Alright, how do we get them on board?
I'm tending
They
to
have
those...
water walking.
They do.
They are creatures, and they also have water breathing.
You see Conrad and Giva start to lower a wooden ramp. It's very flimsy, but it's how you got the horses on there the first time around.
Hold on.
Our fellow party members that haven't come aboard yet because they're not here today can lead the horses on.
Question.
We
how
basically
far
just
are we?
wave them towards us. From
Question.
the
How bloody far are we from the shore? Because
and
I remember.
we ready some silk linens to wetting and put over their ears.
About 40 meters.
40 meters and a ramp of 40 meters.
Well, the ramp isn't 40 meters. They're going to walk across the water.
They can walk on water currently.
And then they're going to just walk up the ramp.
Whoa. Yeah, that would
No,
be
the ramp is not
crazy.
40 meters.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like how fucking close do we have to be to land?
Magic.
Like
Magic.
Right.
that gif.
They have water walking, so they walk up to the ramp that's just next to the ship.
Right.
How
so
many?
we get everyone.
What was the cap of water walking? Wasn't there like
It's 10 people.
10
It's
people?
kind of a ridiculous spell, to be honest, but yeah. It's great for nautical adventures.
Well, yeah, we'll just say we got the fucking horses on board. If somebody didn't get hit by the water walking,
breathing is good for nautical ones. Sorry,
Yes.
not water walking, because that's a bit counterintuitive, isn't it?
That depends.
One horse might have. I mean, I guess if one could ride a water walking.
Yeah, a person can ride a water walking horse. Yes.
I'm pretty sure Ulrich had water walking when he was in the mouth of the serpent being submerged. So, you know, it's all relative. You are all on board. You're having a hard time hearing each other clearly, but you are...
I'll use message to try and get
reading
everybody...
lips.
Yeah.
Joseph is still like without ear protection. He's just invisible, looking around like, what the fuck? I thought I was going to do recon, and you guys just fucking come in. And he's
Well, has
Joseph-
anybody
Joseph,
seen,
make a
has
dex
anybody
save.
seen Joseph?
Joseph,
Joseph is.
Hold on, Joseph's making a dex save, sorry. 14. Falmanar walks briskly in your direction to go tend to the others, and if you didn't deftly step out of the way, his hulking figure would have knocked you asunder. Anyway, go on, F.
I'm calling out, Joseph. Joseph. Don't be shy, darling. It's all right. You can come out.
with his left hand, Joseph kind of punches the mass beside him.
Nobody hears
Joseph.
No, it doesn't matter about the hearing.
there's-
He attacks. He makes an
Right.
attack.
it.
Ergo,
Yes, attack,
he shows
yes,
up.
That is true. He does appear visible.
Oh,
Make an attack
Joseph.
roll.
Yes, I pull out another
hold on.
script.
Make an
Hold
attack
on.
roll on the mast. Let's see if you somehow
Yeah.
damage the mast.
Hold on. Wait, where's my underarm?
Let's see if you break your wrist, or knuckles. No joke.
Constitution.
Really?
I mean, mate, I'm not going to punch it with all my
Go.
fucking paws.
So
Go
it's,
fucking punch a tree, Steve, and see what happens.
So it's a 14, and I will say that is perfectly
No, that's a
average.
dexterity saving. throw.
Nothing out of the ordinary happens. You
earlier.
then become. Oh, it's a dexterity save. All right, make an actual attack roll. If you
Like,
roll like a 1, you will hurt yourself.
I don't have a fucking unarmed attack thing. How was the fucking
I'm gonna
forward
I'm gonna,
or what?
I'm gonna do it for you. What's your dex mod? What is your dexterity?
3.
Oops, sorry. Roll 1d20 plus 3. What am I doing here? Hold on, sorry. Drinking too much. R. Here we go. There's an R.
I think
Why
you're
don't you
doing a
just
little
click in
dirty
the top
dirty
left
is what
corner?
you're doing, Steve.
I'm doing programming here. You rolled a 20. Okay, cool. You're fine.
Well, Joseph appears, his fist to the mast, looking towards the
Joseph,
looking towards
I-
Orion with a interesting face.
I take another strip of silk from my bolt of fucking silk. I really wanted to make this into a nice robe, and I tie it around your ears, and I use the message: sirens. There's sirens. We have to deafen ourselves. There's one on board as a captive.
Well,
We gotta get out of here now.
as you tie this around her, you understand he does not like being touched, so he withers about it. He says, "I can do it myself."
Oh, you're like a small child getting a haircut. Fine, here, do it yourself.
Giva repeats,
I-
who can man the sails? Who can handle a ship? And you recall that you all recall that Conrad and Giva don't have much experience sailing.
Ooh. And Rad was the member of the party, his druid that could sail, and he was gone long ago.
Well, he was gone long ago. Ulrich was his secondary character.
Yes, I know.
What
And
would
I
the-
executed him, so no luck there.
Yeah, a roll for Joseph to remember if he has heard anything from the sailors in the ports.
Oofed. Okay, let's see what you get here.
What roll?
Ooh.
History?
Let's go with intelligence with disadvantage, because you haven't sailed. But, yeah.
Well, no, I guess he knows. Cloth go down, think of who.
Well, yes.
Hold
Roll.
on. Disadvantage.
I love mishaps on ships.
7.
You know just the basics, Joseph. With a 7, that's still better than most, based on what you heard in pubs. But yeah, you just know the very basics, you know.
I have watched a lot of ships, and Steve, you learn the most from failure. And I did, if I recall correctly, get us crashed and had like 5 or 6 slaves instantly die because
So
of my fucking.
Lorian is a smarty pants, so she does make better sense of technical things than most. I will actually want to, before giving you a description, see what Fridgeek does, because he's very mechanical as well. Let's see what he rolls. I'm rolling his intelligence on this, and what did he get? He got also
A 19?
a 19.
Oh, nice.
So I think if the two of you work together, you can probably have a chance of getting this going.
God's help us all.
Who's at the helm?
Free Geek starts moving and pulling up the anchor before anybody does anything.
I say
It's a multi-man mission too.
I say a prayer to Hoar to help us and guide the ship and our sailing so that we can find vengeance against this evil god that has murdered so many innocent people.
Joseph goes to the helm just in case, so that the ship doesn't go anywhere. During the sail here, he did have some experience with who was it? The half-orc who I had
Yes, it was Kath
conversation
Hamilton.
with.
Yes, Kath Hamilton.
Yeah.
And you saw when you were invisible that he is also unconscious. The rest of the crew are unconscious as far as you know. You don't know if anybody's dead or not. You didn't get a thorough look at the head count. And Giva did mention that there is a siren below deck in captivity. Conrad starts to lower the front sails.
I guess I'll... Go ahead.
Well, hopefully the wind favors us, and Joseph tries to turn the ship to the right, so basically turns the wheel to the right to get away from the mainland.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
the wind is coming from the north, pushing,
From the north,
which means
so
it's pushing into a southerly direction.
that direction. So yeah, the wind is against us right now, so we need to get the ship around somehow.
Yeah, we'll turn the sails and we'll do our best to turn the sails and turn the ship to get him.
Okay,
to
so
get it
everyone
back to-
who is engaging themselves in this make strength checks and intelligence checks, and make the strength checks with advantage. These are all fairly manageable things.
Oh, that's a good thing I rolled with it.
And
Joseph, nicely done.
Oh no!
Wow, 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 wow. Lorian, your fine
I did
elven
it.
hands take 1d4 of rope burn, which I've taken in real life so many times for messing with ropes. 1d4. You take only 1
Ugh.
HP of damage from rope burn for not handling them
I'm a fucking
practically.
paper wizard, yeah.
But you,
I'm
not actually.
lucky.
the sails are down and the ship is turning toward the south to get some movement. Joseph is handling the wheel with Gallo by his side. Gallo's up there as well, kind of helping and guiding. Should
It's
there
on the
be,
other side of the...
Gallo's helping to spot. No, actually I take that back. Gallo's up in the front and Falminar's helping you do that.
Sounds
Gallo's
good.
calling out anything that he sees that may be an obstacle. And the ship is moving. The ship is moving, and you all are now in pretty clear skies. There's a brisk wind. You're out of the fog of the forests. You're in open waters, and you are currently heading to the south by southeast. And it's been about 30 minutes or so. You can gather yourselves, and you start to see Giva and Conrad take the cloth off of their heads and ears. Everyone can now speak freely.
Okay. We're supposed to go back to Gryhold to report our findings and drop some people off, yeah?
Are you asking me, or are you asking players?
Well, actually, I'm asking you first because I would
Yes.
know this.
Right.
Right.
So,
It's been like 8 months, so.
yes. So the half-elf Richard came along to make sure things were done in an honorable fashion, in such a way that would shed Gryhold in a good light, as they were funding the quest. The whole idea was that they would fund this quest to go stop the rift, but then that's where the quest ends. So they're like, he has no intention of going to Ivestad.
Right.
But he's currently, and you now all have time to see everyone else, including Beatrice, Richard, Keth, Mallory. They're all unconscious. Mithryorn, Falminir's hawk, is back at his side, just fine. Yvonne is still dead, as you know. Just doing a quick head count, that's all. I don't mean to be facetious. But yeah, so everyone else is in a catatonic state, so you don't have a chance to actually talk to Richard about this, but that was the original plan.
Alright, well, we should probably... Like, how long did it take us to get from Gryhold to Northland?
It's about a week and a half.
Well,
And,
actually, there's probably clerics and priests and the like in Gryhold, right? Maybe somebody that can perhaps bring life back to our one-armed friend.
Right now we are going in the wrong direction too. I believe we
But we are.
north. Wait, could we see the map of the?
I pulled
Hello?
it up. I pulled up the map.
Everything's gone. Oh shit.
Perhaps I've lost connection.
No,
Well,
she's
I-
here. I hear her.
Well, she can't hear
Okay.
us.
I can hear you now.
Great. Okay.
No.
So you guys, I pulled up a map. Maybe it was taking your bandwidth when I pulled up the map. So here's the map.
Oh.
So if you look at the top, the northwest of the map here, it details the party's journey from the very start of the campaign. So you guys are currently
We're heading
here.
away from Gryhold right now.
Yeah, we're heading south. southeast.
Conrad Thorngage, you all recall without a roll, is from Estold. Estold is a halfling outpost. You have Bellater, which is the overarching region in that entire landmass of which Northold is the northern side of. You have Landcastle, which is a very small human trade post. You have Ivestad, which you know is overrun by slavers, and there's all kind of industries that emanate from there. You know that is a very hostile environment and territory. Everything from spice to drugs to precious metals come from Ivestad and those slave mines. East of that you have Oslo. None of you are too familiar with it. However, in passing, Sid, Yvonne did mention that she was from that general region where Oslo is. And then further east of that is LNF. You know that is an area where many tiefling live, humans, all other races, and there's also a big gambling scene there.
And
Um,
Maori.
and all
Place, I
kinds of trade for specialty items there as well. Conrad is suggesting to you all that you head toward the Isle of Est, which is the northeastern smaller island of Estold. He's saying
Okay.
that we can stop there for refuge. It's a safe place, and we could perhaps find some refuge there. Falmanar, Lorian, actually, only you, Lorian, make an insight roll on Falmanar as Conrad says this.
Gotta find the insight.
21.
Yes.
Damn.
I know,
That's
goddamn.
gonna give you a little something. I swear, you guys get like super high, super low rolls usually.
Yeah. Next
you-
time we do
you-
combat, I'm fucked.
You discern that. Well, you think that Falmanar doesn't realize anybody's watching him when Conrad says this. You can tell that he's trying to keep his hand closed, and he's usually wearing his helmet, which makes it harder to read him. But he recently just took that cloth over his ears off, and his helmet is not on. And you can see very clearly in his eyes and his face that he is slightly nodding to himself and giving himself away that is a place that he would like to head. And you also know that he did speak with Beatrice the Seer, and knows that there are things in your quest that may help you in that direction. However, there are perfectly good reasons to head to Gryold. You're familiar with that place, you're renowned there, you've saved the city, you may get aid there. You know that Ivestad
Yeah.
is where your journey lies, and that it may be time sensitive, and there are lives at stake. There are many things to consider. You have different options.
But the wind is blowing us south, and we're in no condition to take on Ivestad yet.
It is blowing
So-
south currently, yes.
Well,
So I think
And-
we should. I
out
think
of
we should go there.
character,
Mhm.
I know that it is possible to travel upwind, though be it slowly in a zigzag motion.
Yes,
Well,
you can,
it's not-
you can fly,
it's-
but
But
It's actually quite fast. But I hear you.
yeah, it's slower in the way that your main square sails are not getting all
Yeah,
the wind.
obviously, it won't go as fast, but
As fast,
it's
yeah.
still fast.
It is possible to go up there, but it's
How are the sails actually? I mean, this is kind of a detailed thing that's kind of a little bit over the top, maybe, but
on the
old
picture.
ships like these tend to you're able to turn the sails quite efficiently, and you can tack quite easily.
And go up
So
in a-
I don't think it would take that much extra time. Honestly, it's basically almost just as fast. Missing that maybe.
I'm gonna go by what I perceived. from
But yeah,
combat.
I find it more intriguing. Is it? Did you say Ethel?
And then there is the
So the larger island is called Estold. That you know that there's a halfling outpost there. That is where Conrad is from and his business is from. His business of wines and whiskeys. But he is suggesting the little island to the northeast there. It's not labeled on the bigger map. It is called the Isle of Est. And yeah, that is where he is suggesting.
I would not mind going there either.
We'll go there for now. Try and
Why
regroup.
would we head back to Greyhold?
Because we have people from there that were... This was an
But do
expedition
we-
for them, going there and then back on this
That's a
ship.
fair point. We do have... Hold on. Do you not have a spell that allows you to send messages over vast distances with animals?
I will jump in and say that beyond any spells you may have at this level, Mithryorn, Falmanir's gifted hawk, is the best option because it can pass through a pocket dimension in the astral plane, which is basically like having a mailman with you.
Yeah.
However,
pretty awesome.
it does have a bit of a mind of its own, so it makes it harder to pinpoint where it will go and what it will do. But that's an option.
We could ask him to take a note to Gryhold saying that we've been successful but have taken heavy damage and losses and are needing to ride the wind to an island to recuperate.
Yep. I think that sounds like a great idea.
So what I'm going to have you do is, in Discord itself, write out the note that you want to physically put on the hawk. The hawk has limited intelligence. It can take basic commands like bring to Gryhold, and it'll recognize certain buildings and such. So I'll let you write it out.
Lorien is best suited for this task.
Yes, and so what you write, Lorien, is what will be set in stone for that message to be sent out. You can do it in general chat, in italicized or whatever for now.
Well, I'm gonna write it in Notepad.
Go for it. Yeah, take your time. And while we do that, it's about a 3 to 3.5 day journey with the wind in your favor. You can make a nature roll to see if that is going to be the case and what the weather is for the next day or so. Whichever of you would like to make a nature roll.
A what roll?
A nature roll. Nature.
Steve,
Can we not all make it?
You can assist each other. I'll allow like one other person to assist another person. Which will give you
Okay, who has
advantage.
the highest? Who has the highest? What was it? Nature.
Nature.
Sorry.
Yeah, let me check. Let me check Jinyo. He might have a high nature. Let me see. Jinyo's nature is not high. It's a +2.
-5.
You might have the best. I mean, you are a druid.
there is something I would like to do on this 3-day travel.
Fridgeek also has 5. He's not even proficient in that. It's just like 5 from his intelligence. His strength is -4. Holy shit! He relies on his armor as an artificer. Wow.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Yes,
What's up?
hello.
What do you want to say, Sid? Sorry.
Trying to say that I would like to do something on this 3-day voyage.
Well, before we do,
It
we're
might
just
not be.
inspecting the nature,
Yes.
the wind, the weather, wind and weather.
I'll
but,
just
but be
go
prepared
ahead
to
and-
tell us.
Oh,
Yeah. 25. So, the time of year that it is in the campaign, and I've actually been following this quite a bit. When you guys were in Gryhold, it was like autumn getting into winter. You're now in the heart of winter. And Rollhall knows that this time of year from that direction in the north, you'll have pretty consistent northerly winds for days at a time. You feel that that wind will keep up and give you a consistent 3 to 3.5 day journey. So that should be consistent. So before we actually commit to this, and whether or not we know there's going to be encounters or things between now and then, tell me what you all would like to do for this journey. There is a siren below deck, keep that in mind. The crew is in a catatonic state, which should last for at least a week, based on what Giva is saying, without medical attention. So these guys are going to be out. And keep in mind that you also have to use gentle repose should you try to keep Yvonne's body from decomposing.
Yes.
So going into this, know all that. Tell me what you'd like to do.
wait,
for the
10
journey.
days?
Sorry, it's you have, yeah, that's true. You do have 10 days. Sorry, you're good. I forgot about the 10-day limit. So you're actually fine for a 3.5 day journey. So what would you all like to do?
Well,
for
do we
3.5
have
days?
things to attune to?
Good question. Have a look. I leave you pretty
Uh,
much in charge of your inventories. I trust you all.
There are some things I would like to ask Faminar, Gallo, and Fred Geek.
Mhm.
Mostly Faminar. I would like to mostly ask Gallo and Faminar about monster hunting, fighting, and stuff like that. To
Okay.
kind of understanding of the adventuring life and needs, and maybe I don't know something else.
So I will say that Falmanar has more training with just fighting tactics, more so on humans, and just those fighting tactics or war tactics. Gallo has more applied experience as a bounty hunter, hunting strange and evil things of a varied nature, so they can give you different information.
I think.
Okay.
Uh,
Roll Hall whistles to Joseph.
Joseph goes to Rohal.
No, you don't.
Roll Hall throws a rifle in his direction.
Performance to catch it?
Dex save, but I'll make it fairly easy. Dex save with advantage.
Well, I don't
25. Joseph
Let's see.
catches it with one hand.
That's on that 20. The second one, anyway.
Joseph looks at this thing and goes, well, kind of
That's
looks
the
at
rifle.
Rohal.
You realize it's the rifle that you saw earlier in the.
Actually, he didn't see it because he was attending to Yvonne when you guys were.
No. You saw this one.
Did I?
Yeah, you were intrigued by it. I remember, like.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. I know that you made some comment of it.
Frit Geek who was, because I remember being
No.
with Yvonne and like in the back area, and then when we came up to the thing, okay.
Oh well, whatever.
I
Be
can't
surprised.
remember.
Whatever. Be surprised. Maybe you weren't there. I'm too tired to remember.
You
Yeah.
now have a rifle in your hands.
Inspection, I guess, or investigation.
You can give him all the information you have, Rose. Actually, I'll give it to you as well, Sid. Just give me a moment.
What
I
shall I
can
name
send
it
him the
as?
thing you sent me.
You can all attune to whatever you want to. Up to 3 things at once, though. Keep that in mind.
I don't think you can attune to that
Shall
one.
I name it?
No,
It's
I don't think you can. I'm just saying in general for your travels, just because I'm trying
Yeah.
to get a head count of what everyone's doing on this journey, assuming there's no interruptions or Kraken that want to eat you.
Things. Shall I name it? And how did it look like again?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I have so many notes here. Here we go. Where the hell is that loot?
Not the loot.
I mean, it's a gun. It's loot.
Loot. Okay, you mean? I thought you meant the instrument loot.
No,
I can
like,
send.
like it is loot that you have looted.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I got it.
I can't fucking find it right now. I'll have to give it to you later, Sid. Sorry.
Little friend. That's the most genius name ever, Sylvia.
Little friend. And also, Sylvia, I will say that guns are a very new thing to my 1.5 long campaign. Literally, last campaign is when they first introduced them. They're very balanced. They're not like super powerful. Honestly, a bow is probably more powerful than a gun. I'll just say that. Gives it a little flavor, though. Okay, so Lorian, are you doing anything for the journey?
I'm writing this letter that you told me to write, Steve.
True, but on top of that, do you want to do anything for the 3.5 day?
I'm not even thinking about it because I'm trying to write this letter. I messaged you, and it didn't go through. Wanting the names.
Fair enough. Please give me the names of everyone who has died on the leg of this journey. Oh, you're asking me, right?
Yeah, because it's been like 8 months.
Got it.
So yeah.
So Aldwulf, I'm writing you uncertain because he departed, returned home. Then we have Ulrich was an evil worshipper of Gonadar. Writing that. Then we had Cathreftes and I don't even remember the name of the half-orc. The half-orc were slain by the Black Dragon. Man, we lost a lot of people. Yvonne.
Yeah.
sacrificed herself to close the rift with our help, with the party's help. Obviously, you all worked hard for that. And then that is, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 party members slain on this one quest. That's what I'd like to see. A little unpredictability, yeah. Okay. Rohal, are you doing anything for this journey?
I'm not sure what I can do. Honestly, that weapon is probably best for someone with a decent amount of intelligence. Do you have a decent amount of intelligence?
Good question.
Because it would probably like fuck up at times.
How do you not know what your intelligence is?
3.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
I'm trying to figure out what can I even proficient with this thing? I'm trying to look for. Okay, so
No, I don't think you can. It's basically just a rifle.
It's a martial weapon, and I am not proficient in martial weapons.
But you can probably become somehow.
Still, I can still try to use it, but I guess there is no ammunition for it or anything right now. I guess I'll have to do some thinking upon it and inspection of some time. But you do your things right now. There is still one thing I want to ask Fredgeek, but I can do that later.
I will say that the journey is uninterrupted. And
Did you, by the way, look at what I did earlier when you guys were talking in the chat? It was the egg thing.
lightly heated, okay, it takes out a bunch of the gold coins and heats them up with produce frame. Okay, cool. Very good. So he is keeping the egg fairly warm. Very smart, actually.
Yeah,
So-
and I check it like I keep checking on the egg and whatnot.
You see that it is actually growing, even in the 3 days, but not to the point where it will not. fit in the
Honestly,
bag.
I've actually taken it out of the bag in because it's kind of a safe environment, right?
Yes, it is on the ship, as far as you know.
Yeah. As far as I know.
As far as you know, I always say that as a DM. As far as you know.
Yeah. Except for that, I guess I start talking about, like, before we actually go through the whole journey, should we talk to, or should we try to communicate with the creature downstairs? I say to the individuals that are, well, one is super intrigued by a rifle, and the other person is, what were you doing?
She's running
Right.
out for the Mithraeon.
Gotcha.
I actually should do some sort of inspection on the rifle, shouldn't I? I just got back
Well,
down to bed.
You can do that at another time when we're not talking about the creature that's locked in. Where's it locked up in?
It's in lower hold. I have that hidden because you guys were still exploring. I'll reveal it.